Okay, now let's take a little look at what we see in baseball. Factors that I am tempted always to say that there are just a lot of BS as opposed to good, solid information that a player can use. Now, why do I say this? Well, if you take a look at what the commentators say, they really don't take a look at player performance. Even though they're talking about a player, look at him, he's striking out, or he's hitting, or he's great for hitting foul balls. His percentage on this team was so and so, and last year he did this. They'll give you all the stats and everything else about the player. But what they don't give you is an analysis of his skills. Here we have a player, and sometimes new players being brought in, like Rizzo being brought into the Padres. The hype in the papers was horrendous. Oh, here's going to be the salvation. This guy's going to be the greatest, a great hitter. And see, there's all hype about it. But not one article that I ever read describing what is his technique. What kind of technique does Rizzo use? Does he have the technique for a home run hitter? Or is he going more for average? Similar to a Tony Gwynn type hitter. We don't hear about this. Or even the ability of him to change from one type of swing to another, depending upon who's on base. If you have loaded bases with 2 out, do you go for a home run or do you go for just getting a hit? Especially if you only need 1 run to win the game or to tie the game. See, these are the things that are never discussed. This is what I mean about some of the BS. We talk about the player and all the other factors, but not about how he performs. This is the key. And especially when we take a look at the hitting, this is one thing, but even in baseball, in pitching. You take a look at the pitchers and the verbiage, the vocabulary that's used, it just drives me up a wall. For example, in the last year or two only, I'm reading many articles about a fastball that rises and a fastball that sinks. How in the world can you have a fastball that's going to rise and another fastball that sinks? They're 2 distinct pitches. How can they be fastballs? And when you examine this closely, well, it's because the pitcher said this. Somebody picked it up, and the commentators just glom onto it. Oh yeah, we have a fastball that sinks now. Well, it can't be a fastball. It's got to be a sinker. So why can't we call a spade a spade? We always have to come up with new terminology. This is where the BS comes in. See, why do we need all these other terms? And even to this day, and I've asked this for the last 5 or 10 years, every year I'll ask a group of baseball people, what is the difference between a curveball and a sinker? I have yet to get a clear definition. Most people say it's the same thing. Then why do we have 2 such distinct terms if it's the same pitch? No resolution. So where's the science behind the sport? And maybe I shouldn't even use science, because I know science scares a lot of people. But what I mean is, let's at least have a little substantiation. Let's back up what we say, instead of just saying it because it sounds good. And reporters just act like parrots and repeat it in the papers. There's no investigation, there's no questioning. You look at the questions typically asked, whether it be on SportsCenter or in the newspapers when they interview a particular player. Well, what'd you think of that last pitch? How did you feel winning the game? How did you feel because of the loss? Was it your wife that was having a baby interfere with what was going on? These are the lame questions. Not that they're not interesting. They can be very interesting. I don't mean to put down, some of these questions. But the point that I'm trying to bring out is that they don't address what the player does and how he does it. They ignore the physical and technical abilities of the player. This is where the analysis should be focused. So we're going to analyze or improve, and this is the bottom line. We want to improve player performance. We want to make the player better. And the better we can make the player perform, the better the team will perform. It's so simple, it's mind-boggling. You want to have a better player? Improve his ability to execute the skills that he needs. If it's a baseball pitcher, improve his ability to throw the ball. This can be done. There's nothing magical about it. You have to take a look at his technique. Does he have a good sequence of events from the hip rotation to the shoulder rotation? There's a stride in there first preceding all of this. What happens in the shoulder joint? What's the point of release? What's the angle in the elbow during the release? And so on. All of these are very visible. We capture all of these on film. We just need somebody with a little expertise to find out, well, is he doing it well? Can it be better? If so, how can we improve it? And then come up with specialized exercises, strength exercises, that can help make some of these changes, develop the feel for the change, and then incorporate it into the total throw. So it's very possible. Hitting. Where do we see analyses of hitting? We see comparisons. We'll compare this player to this player. Well, what guarantee do we have that this player has better technique? Because he has a better average does not mean he has better technique. You can find some of the world-class performers. Not only do they not even know how they execute it, they're just great at doing it. So they don't know how to do it, and then they have even more trouble trying to explain to someone else how they do it. This is why you hear them, if you ask a player, well, what do you do when you hit the ball? Well, I swing through it. Well, what does that tell you? I hit it solid. I keep my eye on it. That's a good suggestion. But see, they're all nebulous terms. And that's why, when you take a look at all of these factors, how we talk around the person, oh, he's good, he's going to come through. He's, when you're at a game, hey, the law of averages, he struck out twice, he's got to have a hit now. See, but why is he striking out? See, we never look at these factors. So that's why they're what I consider them to be BS factors. And they're good for the barroom discussion. But they're not good for making a player better. And this is where we should be focused. All of our focus should always be on making a better player. And to do this, we have to be analyzing their technique and their physical abilities. These are the two key factors for improving performance. Improving technique, improving their physical abilities specific to the technique. With this, you'll have a great player. And here I would recommend, if you want more information in this area, take a look at the book Build a Better Athlete, as well as Sports, Is It All BS? Cover many more myths that we see in baseball and other sports, as well as what you can do to improve the technical and physical abilities. Then we can make greater and better players.